think looking at the exigencies of our times right now, the economic situation we find ourselves in, the stresses that we are going through, it tells you that the situation is bigger than we might be thinking, isn't it?
That is it. But let me just add a little to what Doc said before I come to this one. You see, now many people have resorted to energy drinks because we want to do more hours at work. But I want to caution us here: if you are not sleeping enough, don't replace it with energy drink. At least you'll be well off just going through with the challenges that have been enumerated than to add more problems
to compound the problem.
So don't add
energy drinks.
Yes.
And you know, some of the
if we can stay away from all of them.
But for those who are even taking the energy drinks to do well at work harder, longer hours and all that, I know crowd said, but some of them will take some of these energy drinks and will want to perform well in bed and stay longer in bed and all that.
Whatever it is, whatever you use it for, it's not good.
Yeah.
We'll not encourage it.
Asking, can mental health issues affect someone's sexual performance?
Oh, yes. We just explained that your brain.
So it means that the person who asked the question is having that challenge. He's not able to perform well sexually.
So we have an aspect of mental health or psychiatry called reproductive psychiatry. Now it begins from even your identity as male or female. Okay. And yes, when you are growing up, there's a stage when your brain development helps you to acknowledge who you are as male or female. Now, studies show that people who experience any sexual related traumatic experiences or neglect during that critical stage get altered. And they get altered to the point where when they get to the stage where sexual identity has to be established, there's confusion about sexual identity. And that leads to what we refer to as sexual disorders of sexual orientation. And it also leads to what we refer to as disorders of sexual preference. And that's where we have people with same-sex problems coming, people who prefer to masturbate, people who prefer to have arousal when they are beating sadicists, people who prefer to use inanimate objects, who prefer to use animals and corpses for arousal. Yes, that is where those disorders are. Now, the brain, which is the same central command, is the one which directs your body to produce the hormones that lead to sexual differentiation. So testosterone, for you to become masculine from the age of 6, adolescence, that differentiation is occurring. And for females, estrogen. Now we've seen that testosterone predisposes men to the conditions where you have a lot of hyperactivity, increased risk behavior like manic conditions, which is a mood disorder. And estrogen in females predispose us to having more of the estrogen-related disorders like anxiety and depression. So that's where the question about
swings and all that.
When we say mood swings, we are looking at more like a bipolar situation. So it means you either go to depression pole or to the manic pole, or you are in between. So the brain is the one which directs your brain to secrete all the compounds that work on your reproductive function, your heart function, etc. So if your brain has a problem, what will happen is that you will not produce enough of the androgen hormones to make you more masculine, or the estrogen hormones to make you more feminine. And what will happen is that you have underdeveloped gonads or sexual organs, so you end up not maturing sexually, which means that your reproductive function will be affected.
Does that mean, say, if you have